James Gunn's debut with the DC Universe is a smashing success with the Suicide Squad. So let's talk about it. Welcome to the Cinema Gold Show. I'm your host, Larry Leese. Today we're giving our review of the Suicide Squad, out now in theaters on HBO Max for streaming.
Welcome to the Cinema Gold Show with your host, Larry Leese. From the small screen to the big screen, we cover all the latest entertainment news. Join us on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube every weekday.
Suicide Squad isn't so much a reboot or a sequel to 2016's Suicide Squad as it is a complete do-over, and this time they knocked it out of the park. In fact, this irreverent, ultra-violent romp featuring F-list villains is DC's best film in years. The story is pretty much The Dirty Dozen, but with supervillains, and it's one hell of a ride. Once again, a group of incarcerated supercriminals is sent on a lethally dangerous Black Ops mission, allowing the thoroughly R-rated movie to live up to its name in gruesome fashion. While we've come to expect costume heroes and villains to have plot armor so they can show up again for the next franchise installment, the characters of the Suicide Squad enjoy no such luxury. It's made abundantly clear that no one in its colorful cast is safe. That gives it a rare sense of danger, like the good days of Game of Thrones, where any scene might have been your favorite character's last. And when these characters are killed off, it's not pretty, as James Gunn taps into his old gory days as a gross-out provocateur. Characters don't just go down, they get sliced and diced, incinerated, and exploded with blood and guts galore. The kind where you can see chunky bits in the viscera. Sometimes these over-the-top deaths are done for shock value, sometimes for humor, and sometimes to pull our heartstrings. But they'll always inspire some kind of significant reaction, and that's why the film works so well. The Suicide Squad allows Gunn to lean into everything that he does best. He masterfully weaves action and drama with wit and humor, which we've come to expect from the Guardians of the Galaxy director, but there's something more ingenious at work here. Gunn is Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka, manic gleam in his eye, taking us on a perverse and strangely emotional roller coaster ride with a surprise around every corner. The film may be a superhero war caper on the surface, but underneath, it's a fascinating examination of DC's bottom-of-the-barrel baddies. Even in the weirdest of the weird, like Polka Dot Man and Ratcatcher 2, are shown to have depths worth exploring. Gunn clearly has a soft spot for outcasts and misfits, and here he creates a twisted, yet touching tribute to DC's sad and broken supervillains. Gunn has previously professed his love for the classic Suicide Squad comic book run from 1987, and while the movie isn't a direct adaptation of the story by any means, it wears its influence with pride. The tone is gritty, intense. Viola Davis is again a force of nature as Amanda Waller, and there are all manner of high-stakes twists and turns, betrayal, and deceptions. Those elements are generously lathered with Gunn's crude, belligerent, and absolutely wild sense of humor, which is also offered to the spectacular cast. Idris Elba and John Cena are hilarious as rival assassins Bloodsport and Peacemaker, especially in a violent sequence where they try to out-kill each other that's nothing short of brilliant. Sylvester Stallone voices a walking, talking shark named Nanu, delivering a performance more silly and charming than it has any right to be. Joel Kinnaman's Rick Flag is thankfully spared the sort of cheesy lines he was forced to work with in the 2016 movie and is someone worth rooting for. His dynamic with Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, a rare friendship based on mutual respect, is a highlight of the movie. And speaking of the Maiden of Mischief, the film is by far Robbie's best turn as Harley Quinn. She's funnier and more unpredictable than ever. Gunn distills her into pure insanity. The Suicide Squad can't help but go off the rails to follow her down the rabbit hole. If there's a weak point to be found, it lies with the squad's one-dimensional antagonists. In particular, Peter Capaldi's Thinker feels underutilized. A single dim bulb and a lineup of dazzling bright lights. The film doesn't suffer much from this, though, because it mines more than enough tension and danger from the team members themselves to keep us invested. And now, our verdict. James Gunn absolutely kills it with the Suicide Squad. The film is a bloody, chaotic ride from start to finish that finally does justice to Task Force X. It's endlessly shocking and funny, and its showcase of F-list DC villains is nothing short of brilliant. Before we go, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Poddex. Visit poddex.com and use promo code Larry21. That's LARRY21 for 10% off your first purchase at poddex.com. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching the Cinema Gold Show. If you liked what you heard, subscribe to our podcast on all major platforms. Follow us on Twitter at Cinema Gold Show. And like us on Instagram at The Cinema Gold Show. Support the show by buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/cinemagold. As always, thank you for listening.